You got to have a concept. You have a great concept. You guys are doing it, man. And it's an honor for me to just be, a small rock, man, in your mountain. I'm going to pop a top in your honor.
Mr. Doc Walker blessed us with his presence and knowledge.
We want to welcome in our next special guest, Haley Skarupa. She's a three-time world champion in women's ice hockey and most recently won Olympic gold with Team USA.
The Cap Stadium Series was definitely my favorite, obviously. I'm a huge Caps fan, I always have been, and to be there at that game with my teammates and for us to bring, our gold medals to there and share it with everyone in this area was really, really special for me, and just the support and it's been tremendous from everyone in this area, and you could feel that there at that game.
Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast. Hashtag DC Sports Without the Politics with Carol and Robbie on True Radio Network.
And welcome to episode 387 of Sports on the Hill podcast. As we are climbing to 400, we've got an exciting episode tonight. We are talking a little Caps hockey. They had an exciting 2-1 week. Even in their loss, I thought that they fought back, so something exciting to talk about. We've got some exciting news that we're going to break down in just a moment about the upcoming game and schedule. So we'll talk about that. But overall, we'll be talking about this Game 7 in the AL Championship Series right now for the Pennant. And it's between Toronto and Seattle. Seattle's up 2-1 in Toronto. If Toronto is able to win this game, they will be the first team in the history of a 7-game series in baseball to lose the first two at home and still win the series. So the opposite happened to the Nationals a couple of years back, where all the road teams won a game. That obviously couldn't happen for Toronto to win this series. They did lose one in Seattle, but they did win one in the last game in Toronto. So now it's back to being even again, and hopefully they can win a game in Toronto 2 nights in a row. So we'll be covering that live. I'm rooting for the Blue Jays. Our old friend Max Scherzer, former National from that 2019 team, is pitching for that team. So not tonight, but overall. So we're covering that and the live football game. And then in hour 2, we'll talk a little bit of wrestling. We'll talk more from these live football and baseball games. We'll also talk about the unfortunate loss by the Commanders to the hated Dallas Cowboys. So that's a bit of a bummer, but we'll have to talk about that and break that down. We'll also preview next week's game. That will actually be another live on-air game, which the last one did not go so well last week. So if people were watching that game, you could see some sad faces by the end of it. It was going well until the end when it didn't. So it's the flip-flop of the Bears game from last year with the Hail Mary. If you want to see our live reaction to that, go check out last week's live podcast on YouTube and all the platforms. We are live streaming on Twitch, Kick, and also our Facebook page as well, SportsOTHP, facebook.com/SportsOTHP. You can always go to the website, SportsOTHP.com, for most of the latest videos. I'm not sure if last week's up there, but all the other ones are. And then also the Team Sports OTHP. Click that for all of our wonderful podcast guests. Tonight on the show, we're going to have Gil, which I'll introduce more in a second. We are going to have C4 for this hockey segment as well. And then we're also going to be bringing in Champ and Sith to talk a little football with me in hour 2 and some wrestling. Big wrestling Monday Night Raw is happening right now with some breaking news that will be happening throughout the podcast. So we'll have that as well. So lots to talk about on tonight's show. Again, 387. But the biggest news is Gil on the Power Play Point podcast had a raffle and a drawing, and I'm excited that to announce that I was the winner of that. So thank you, Gil. Gil, can you explain a little bit to our listeners what the raffle was for if they may have missed the last couple weeks podcast, and also let people know how you're doing?
Yes. Thanks for, as always, for having me on. So this season we are lucky enough to be partnering with a 501c nonprofit that is setting roots here in the DMV called Empowering Education. It's an organization that is dedicated to teaching high school age youth, for the most part, financial health and literacy. And so their goal is to set up an online program to assist with that here in the DMV and hopefully beyond. So the charity was to benefit them. The raffle proceeds were to go to them. So we were offering up raffle tickets since earlier in the month. Robbie and Liz, his wonderful wife, decided they wanted in and also wanted to contribute. And their ticket was the one that came up when I did the drawing Sunday morning before the Caps game, and voila! I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. Now, admittedly, we didn't quite sell as many tickets as we wanted, so a bit of a smaller pool than we were hoping to have. But
it's a good lesson for the next time. You never know how many people are going to do it, so you may as well get in because you might be able to win. So exactly. I'm happy to give to a great cause, and I definitely encourage if we're able to do more of these in the future that people do indeed join, because you never know, you might win. And one of the exciting things about winning this is we're going to get some live content for next week's show that we'll show on air. Some things on social medias we'll give like a live from the game. We'll do probably a Facebook live, maybe even a Twitch live at the game. Grab some footage and pictures that I'll try to post after, but also show all of it next week on the show during the football game. And I'm excited to announce it was sort of last minute that we won it, so I didn't want to put my wife on the spot and have to pay for a babysitter. Also, selfishly, I wanted to go to a concert on Friday, so I'm using my babysitter allowance for that. And so we decided that she would stay home with the kids, and which mean that I got an extra ticket. And since I wanted to thank Gil so much for doing this great raffle, I am taking Gil with me, and then we can do some fun content together. And it's actually the only game we've ever gone to just the two of us, so I'm just excited about that in addition. So it'll be fun that we get to hang out 2 nights in a row. So that one actually in person. Yeah. So hopefully we're one goal away. We'll talk about it a little bit more in the Hockey Talk segment, but Ovechkin did get a goal this week. Spoiler alert. So he sits at 898, which means one goal left of the 800s ever, right? And there's a chance, that could be tomorrow. So that's always an exciting thing. We don't have so many of these left, Gil, over the next, hopefully we get this year, maybe 1 or 2 more if we're lucky. But for all we know, this is one of the last times that we could watch potentially history being made. Obviously, any goal, I always joke with my dad, every goal from now on is the history-making goal. He supersedes his previous record of most goals with a new one, right? So each hockey puck is the new one that is the new record. Exciting to see a chance. 2 away from 900, which is obviously a very big milestone. So also within the realm of possible, I've gotten to see a few. I've been lucky enough. This one was from a playoff hat trick game. Actually ended up being his only ever in his career, which surprised me at the time, because at the time he was young and against Sidney Crosby, and I was like, oh, I got to see the first of many playoff hat tricks. But Gil, it wasn't to be so. But you never know. I've seen him have quite some exciting games over the years. I think my favorite game, though, Gil, is one time he got smashed in the nose and blood dripping everywhere, had to go off 2 minutes into the match, right? I'm like, oh, that sucks, right? Comes back and has 4 assists, 4 primary assists, and they win the game. And it's a game that no one ever talks about. My dad was talking to me the other day about how great his passing is. And I'm like, how, people don't talk about it and how it's gotten better. I'm like, no, he's always been a great passer. It's just he's playing in a wing position where he's just not going to get the number of assists that you get as a center. And he scores so many goals himself that, he's just not going to get that many on his line. But he's always been great at that. I'm not saying he's Wayne Gretzky or Nicholas Backstrom, but he is second in our franchise, I believe, in assists, all time. So, it's some of those games get overlooked in his hat trick games, right? But that's 4 points, Gil. and he was made each one of those goals happen, after breaking his nose, right? So, he's just incredible. It's against Toronto, which is making me think about it. We're watching Toronto, but you just never know what's going to happen when you get to go to a live game. So I'm super, super thankful that we're going to get to go to one. Hopefully, it's a good one. I've yet to see us beat the Seattle Kraken. It's one of the, I try in my lifetime to watch us beat every franchise in Washington. Hopefully that's a goal. I have gone to one Seattle game. Oh, wait, I take it back. I think we beat them on my birthday 2 years ago. I think I now remember that. I think that was a thing that I needed. But I think that they played us in December. I'll have to go back and check that. So it's possible. But anyway, I hope we beat them again. I hope that Seattle loses in the baseball today. So I hope it's a very sad week for Seattle. But Gil, let people know what happened on your podcast this week, and then we'll bring C4 in and we'll talk a little hockey.
Okay, so C4 was unavailable due to previous commitments, and I think she was on her way back from Atlanta at that point, if I'm not mistaken. She can come when she comes on. She can correct me if I'm wrong. Either way, it was myself and Jenny Clausen who were on, and she's something of an analytics numbers type of young lady. So she helped break down the all 4 games that were played since Sunday. The trip in New York. So we go over that and a little bit of advanced stats, a little bit of what's ailing the team, the power play in particular, and suggestions on how they could improve things and so forth. But a good long conversation about that. And just another reminder, we always got an open door. If you want to get involved, you want to talk Caps hockey, you've got something you want to say about the team, you can always join us. Just contact myself and/or Anna Knox on our Facebook page, or DM one of us, or Robbie for that matter. He's a moderator on that page, also an admin, so he can pass along any wishes that you have for us. So absolutely, that's this week on the Power Play Point podcast.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, with that, I think we'll bring C4 in because I want to congratulate her. She had the much better Monday Night Football game that she went to last week. So C4, we'll start with there. How was your trip to Atlanta? What an incredible win. I know you're not a big Atlanta fan like Marcus is, but what a cool experience.
They may or may not have won a new fan, but well.
Yeah.
No, it was actually absolutely fantastic. That's only the second professional football game I've ever been to. Oddly enough,
wow.
The first one I ever went to was a Bills game back in the early 90s in Buffalo, and it was cold. But no, the experience there was fantastic. I mean, there were a lot of Bills fans there. I mean, every time you turned around, there were Bills fans. They travel well. But it was fun. It was a good rivalry. It was all good fun, joking around and stuff. My favorite part was the game itself. I mean, just watching football live, there's just nothing like it. It's so much better. Robbie, I know you've been to games, and I'm sure you can concur. It's great on TV, but it's so much more fun live.
I was a season ticket holder for years, and it's a completely different experience.
It is. And I mean, we actually we got down there we drove overnight Saturday night. Yeah, we left at like 9:00 Saturday night, got down there at 7:45 Sunday morning. The hotel actually had a room available at 7:45 in the morning, which is highly unusual. But we went up and slept for a few hours, and then we went out. We were like we were walking distance to the stadium. We were like a 10-minute walk to the stadium. But they had the College Football Hall of Fame there. So we went there. That was really cool. It's a small one. It's not like the big one, but and we went to the aquarium, the Georgia Aquarium. We wanted to do.
I love that one. That I actually spent people don't know this. I spent a summer working in Atlanta when I was in college with an internship with Cartoon Network. And I got to test video games for them on their website during the day and just party all night. It was the best internship and the best.
Yeah. Did you go to the Landmark Diner? It's on Forsyth and Lucky.
No, I don't think I did. I stayed mostly on
Oh, it
Georgia
was so
Tech's
good.
campus
Oh,
because it was like
okay.
right across the street from where Williams Street is. So like I literally
Yeah.
walked a
Yeah, yeah,
couple of
yeah.
blocks and I got to be like right there on
Yeah, we
campus.
were
And so I
at
thought,
the Residence Inn, the Marriott Residence Inn right there.
but that aquarium is
Not far from the
phenomenal.
Westin.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's beautiful. And we were going to do the World of Coca-Cola, but the tours for the time we were there were sold out, so we didn't get to go, but that's all
that's
right.
tough.
Next
Yeah.
time. But yeah, well worth the trip. The drive was super easy. So it was long, but it was easy. Um, and then so y'all recorded when? Saturday?
Saturday.
Yeah.
So
This
I think you guys were still on the road at that point.
Yeah, we were on the road. And then we last night, no, Sunday. Yes, not yesterday. Wait, I'm thinking now. Today's Monday, right?
Right.
Okay. So Saturday we went to the Hershey Bears game. So we were at the Bears game this past Saturday night. So
Nice.
yeah, it was fun. We had a, but yeah, that and we'll also be at the Seattle game on Tuesday,
Oh,
Oh,
which
nice.
which is
nice.
why I didn't
And-
put
and
money
you're-
in for the raffle because I
Wow,
already
wait.
had tickets.
So who's going from your end? C4, you and Marcus?
Me and Marcus, yeah.
What?
We'll
That's
be in
wild.
yeah, we'll be in
Yeah, we'll have
106.
to all get together for sure.
Yeah, we'll be in
Now that we're all
106.
going, that's wild. That's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah, we already had tickets. Otherwise, that's why I didn't purchase a raffle ticket because I already had tickets for the game. So, but Gil, I think you and I talked off air about this before, and we can talk more about it later. But we have Hershey Bear season tickets, and I talked to Marcus, and any games we're not going to, we would be more than happy to donate those and have the money go to Audie's cause, Dan's cause.
Oh, that'd
If
be that would be great. I don't know if you guys are Facebook friends already. But yeah, you can go ahead and I'll let him know, but you can if you're already his friends on Facebook, you can certainly let him know that way too.
Okay,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I'll look him up.
yeah,
That's awesome.
that's awesome. So, thank you so
T4,
much.
T4, where are your seats?
And Hershey, we
No,
are.
no, for tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow we're in 106.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like row X.
Nice, but maybe we can come down for like if I can get down there fast enough. Will just depend on that, but maybe for like
Yeah.
pre-stream and stuff like that. So, but if not, we can always
It's
do
like
it.
the upper tier of one, right behind that goal where we only shoot once on that end, but you can see the whole rink. It's fantastic.
We'll be on the same end, sort of. 218 is where we'll be.
Okay.
So we'll be one level up,
Right, so we can
but
come
kind
down.
of around.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah, actually, you'll be one level up and across from us. We're 106 is the other end, I think, isn't
That's
it?
yeah.
oh yeah,
That sounds right.
right. We'll figure it out.
We'll
figure
sort it
something
out.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's so very exciting. I can't believe you're going too. That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny because that's happened now twice. I think C4 that one of them we planned, but then the other one we didn't.
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
it's.
It's serendipitous. It's good you go to so many games. 'Cause-
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
All right. Well, with that, I think that's a great segue to start talking about last week's games. Let me press a couple of buttons on the back end. And Gil wants me to play something before we start. So let me do that and see if the audio is all working here. We have so many buttons. All right. Let me see if this works. Why? I hate this thing. All right, there we go. I like it. I'm gonna play one more time. That's amazing.
So that, folks, if you're wondering, was my take on. I don't know if I would hope, but I don't know if you you guys or any of our listeners, viewers are familiar with the now departed sci-fi hit Resident Alien, but
Yeah.
that is my interpretation of a Resident Alien intro
Yes.
done cap
Yes.
style,
Yes.
based on the Tampa game, what happened in it.
That's pretty awesome.
I plan on doing many more like that.
That's funny. That's funny. I like this. I like that we're expanding
That is
here.
great.
That's great. Let me make sure that everything else is still working. Okay, it is. That's so funny. I actually need to see Alien Earth. I need to get in on that. I was a little concerned they weren't going to renew it, and then I wasn't going to be happy if it was a cliffhanger because I've done that too many times. But I heard from people who've seen it, so it's good as a standalone. So even if they don't renew it, so I definitely need to give it a chance for sure. Let's talk about. So we go down early in this game against Tampa Bay, and it's not looking great to start. But man, Protas coming in clutch with his third goal already on the season. But Gil, what was your takeaway on the period and the time before this goal, and then going into this goal?
Yeah, not a very good start against the team that played the night before, and Caps fans in general not very happy with it. And yeah, just an extremely poor and slow start, not really excusable. But finally, as you can see here, late in the second, they finally get it in gear with this goal here. So actually, Robbie, if you could wind that back a bit to the beginning. Okay, so Cirelli takes a shot, it's blocked a bit. Wilson gets it over to McMichael and gets a foot race pass to Moser. His name's Moser, not Hoser. He's a Swiss guy. That's how I know. And he's wondering, Yodelay, who got past me with that twister pass, that awesome twister pass to Protas. That's the answer for you right there. Twister pass to Protas, who slips it in past Twister, can't resist. That goal could have been scored by my sister. He loves it. Yes, I know he said his mother, but if I tried to say mother and make a rhyme for that, make some sort of meme for that, we'd have all been nailed by the FCC or somebody. So
that's very funny. Unfortunately, Seattle's just taken a 3-1 lead now in the baseball game. But I do.
Ooh, I know somebody's not going to like that.
Yeah, so I know we're
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, we're pulling for Janaea, with who loves Toronto. But yeah, a good goal by Alexei Protas. He's so fast, he's got such length, and he finds himself right in a great position, cutting through multiple players here. I mean, there's 3 defenders here, none of them take him. He finds that open spot and just buries it. And
it didn't. That was so cool because Vasilevsky was not watching the puck. He was watching McMichael.
Right.
And he was fully expecting McMichael to come all the way around and stuff it. And McMichael does a slick little move to Protas, who's coming up behind him, and boom.
I wish I had gotten the screenshot of that, but there's a still shot of Vasilevsky actually looking the other way the moment the puck is released and hits Protas's blade. He's still looking the other way.
Yeah.
So that's how badly McMichael fooled him with that pass.
He's coming into his own. I think McMichael will be a special player. I know that they didn't develop quite as fast as some Caps fans wanted him to, but he's still, as they get, what a line this is potentially, with Protas and Wilson. I think that this could do a lot of damage. Both of them have such great hands. So both of them are such physical forces that can kind of protect McMichael because he does get pushed off the puck a little bit, but when he takes these angles and uses his speed to his advantage, it's he can be quite impressive. I'll just put it that way. C4, what else do you think about this?
Agreed. I mean, yeah, he's struggling a little bit with finishing things right now, but he's definitely come a long way than he was a few years ago, and I'm really looking forward to him. I mean, if he can keep up, even if he doesn't get 20, 30 goals, if he can keep making assists like that and doing those little magic trick things, he'll be just fine. I think it'll be fun to watch. I think it's great.
Yeah. I'm so excited to watch the growth of this line, and I mean, this could be our potential first line,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, the
probably
growth of the
in
growth
some ways
of
it might already be, you know?
yeah, the growth of the team in general has just been phenomenal. I mean, the way these players have developed over the years, now that we have proper coaching who is allowing the younger players to develop and allowing them to learn from mistakes and, not punishing them if they miss a goal or something. We have somebody who's working with them. And I've been to practices, and you can see, even at practice, they want to be there. They want to work together. They're having fun. So just the atmosphere is just so different, even than when I went to practices a couple years ago when Yolette was still coaching. Yeah, they were having fun and playing, but it wasn't the same as it is now. I think just all the young blood has just added a whole new energy.
Yeah. I wanted to thank all the people who are joining the chat. Oops, I did this one wrong. But we have Dreaming Truth and Cliff Stallings, two of my friends, and lots of great lurkers. A lot of people who've been in there from my dad, and Champ's in there modding as well. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in live over on Twitch and on Facebook and YouTube and all of the platforms. So thanks for sticking with us tonight. Fun and exciting night for sure. Let's get into the next goal here. Tom Wilson. We finally, Gil, break through on the power play. But let's break it down.
Finally, yes. So 5-on-4 advantage here. Strome and Wilson back to Carlson at the point. So they're playing the two-man game. Strome and Carlson are. Strome fires it, and Wilson gets enough of the blade on it to tip it past Vasilevsky. Yes. Oh, finally. He's got the power. You read it. You're watching. You read it. Believe it.
Wait, hold on. I gotta go a little actual parlay with someone actual Washington Capital. It's very shocking. That's
That's fantastic. I'm
this is what happens when you give Gil a visual medium instead of just an audio podcast. Right?
I tell you.
So I do love this, and I love Tom Wilson. He's got some of the greatest hands. He's so much more than all these other pundits and people want to make him out to be. And Janae has been pushing this hard. If he's not on Team Canada for the next Olympics, like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, I don't know, like, well, what, I mean, like...
Something wrong with those people.
Right. That'd be crazy to me. He's gotten better in every facet since the last Olympics, right? Like, I don't know. At that point, then there's someone holding a grudge somewhere, right? Because it can't be on pure talent, yeah. And why wouldn't you want a physical guy like that on your team, especially when the Americans are probably going to get a bunch of Kachucks involved? So, like, when you, like, I don't know. You don't want to not have a physical person on their team. I mean, I kind of hope that they don't take him so that way he can rest for the time. But, like, if they don't, I will be pretty mad, like. But I also don't want him to get hurt during it because I know how intense he would bring. And imagine him on I can't believe he's never been to the Olympics, Gil.
I don't know. It sounds like a bunch of politics to me. So
you think?
Yeah. Anyway.
And then again, what isn't politics these days?
And then again, if you believe Twitter and other places, Hockey Canada hasn't done a whole lot right in a lot of levels. So
yeah, they should be doing so much better than they do. Like, they squeak by and, like, come back in gold medal matches, and all credit to them for putting it on when they need to. But I don't know, like, with how much potential they have on that team, they could be dominating these sorts of things. So and they don't. But probably because they don't have a Tom Wilson on their team. But anyway.
There you go. We digress.
But, all right, we're going to go skip ahead to the next goal, which is a really important goal. It's a Jacob goal here. As you can see by this chart, it's 3-on-3, which means we're in overtime, Gil. And Gil, before this happens, at 119, what incredible zone pressure we had and the ability to make changes. And this is literally how you would draw a 3-on-3, although I'm not a huge fan of it in general. We've talked about this in the past. I do think it's better than the shootout, but, Anyway, this is what you want to do. It's textbook because you need to get zone possession and you need to put the pressure on them, and we did that in spades. But Gil, take it away from there.
Okay, so just that. Well, the face-off is won long before. Strome and Chikrin play their two-man game. Strome comes off, and here's Wilson doing the wheel around, finds Chikrin in front, who puts it away just under Vasilevsky's pad. And yeah, he's drinking the raw milk. It must be working out for him because he's scoring goals like this.
Yes, sir.
I love Ovechkin trailing the play because he pulls so many people out of position because you cannot have a rested Ovechkin coming off the bench in overtime beat you. I will remind people, he owns the record for most overtime goals in NHL history, right? So
right. Yeah, he does.
You have to, whether it's 4-on-4, 3-on-3, doesn't really matter. So like, you have to play him, which obviously leaves Chikrin just enough space on the far side because 27 has to follow him. So like it's just great play all around. Again, it's I think because of the sustained zone pressure that they're able to do this. But C4, what are some of your thoughts on this?
Just beautiful. I love when they can do this, when the plan comes together, when they get in front of the net with those dirty goals. Like you said, textbook 3-on-3, exactly what we needed to do.
If only Tom Wilson got in a fight in this game, right?
Yeah, there we go.
The Gordie Howe hat trick with this.
This was him. This was him being him. This was another example of, and we talked about this on our latest episode in describing this game. This is why he is all but earmarked to be the next captain of the team when Alex Ovechkin decides to retire, because he was in on all 3 goals in this game. He literally saw the start, and Coach Carberry said the same thing. He saw the poor start and basically said to the whole team, all right, jump on my back. I will carry you across the finish line my damn self, and we will win this game together, but I will do what I need to do, and you all follow me. And this is another example of that.
Right. Exactly. It reminds me of a young Ovechkin, what he used to do, in
a lot of ways.
In a similar time period in his career. So, I'm excited to see the growth in him. I'm happy that a penalty this week wasn't called on him that could have been, that has obviously caused a firestorm across Twitter and social media. But we can get to that later.
Let's just say they ended up making the right calls.
Yes, they did. I thought it was the right call too. We had an interesting chat in our group chat about it as it's happening, but I just couldn't believe they were going to make that call with everything. First of all, it wasn't that call on the ice, so you have to have irrefutable evidence that it wasn't. And we know how those wishy-washy calls, especially ones maybe with goaltender interference, go for us. Anyway, I don't think that any of the replays tend to go our way in any situation. So. I was happy to see it. One of them did. Anyway, let's get to the next game. We got Dylan Strome with a goal to take an early 1-0.
Oh, and Gil, if you know, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely, abso-freaking-lutely.
Yes. Ovechkin's 3rd assist of the season. But let's talk about this line in this game. Played phenomenal. But Gil, I'll let you talk about this goal first.
So top line leading the way. Is lucky to be at this game thanks to Audie. And so they break out of zone. Carlson does. Nice touch pass to Ovechkin, who gets it back to Strome, who puts it away. And yes, he is his own numbers man. He is exploding with statistics himself, and he creates one here. He had a hell of a game here, and he's doing a lot better than we thought. I think I actually teased Marcus a bit. C4, you probably saw this in the Off the Chain podcast chat room. He actually has more points right now than a certain Connor McDavid right now overall. So who saw that coming? Nobody. But hey, it works for me, and he opens the game up with a great goal here.
Yeah,
it was a pretty.
I don't think I realized you went to this game, Gil.
It was kind of a sort of a last minute thing, and Audie and I kind of got our signals crossed, and we actually showed up just in time for the puck drop, and so I didn't really have a chance to get much in the way of pictures and stuff. So
Right. No. But that means if you're going this week too, you've gone to a game in each week of the Capitals' first 3 weeks. Is
Yeah,
He's gone to
that
more
is
games
true.
than me yet.
That is true, and
That's wild.
can't beat that.
I didn't get to my
I'm
first line
happy that
hockey
you're on a
game
winning
until
streak though, and so maybe we can continue that now.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So that's good. All right, C4. What are your thoughts on this first goal?
Strome doing Strome things finally. It's been a long time coming this season. He was off to a slow start, but hopefully this has opened the door, kicked it open, and he just keeps going through it. And, keeps up the work. What is it? He
Obviously,
broke the
he had a
seal.
better,
Broke the
better-
seal. That's the term I'm looking
Yeah.
for. He broke the seal. Now that the seal is broken,
obviously
get
a
it all out
much
there.
better week for him this week than last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think last week he was just, I don't know, there was just something off last week, but he seems much more himself now. So we'll see how it goes. And I think has he been on that line with Beauvillier and Ovi the entire time?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell
Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
because there has been a little bit of line blendering. So,
Yeah, but I think that a lot of the line blundering has been with the bottom two lines, in my opinion, because I
Yeah.
feel like they've been pretty
the
consistent
third-
with those.
Yeah, the third and fourth line are kind of.
They've tried
the
a couple
fourth
other
line's
people with
pretty-
Verbolio's spot, but
Yeah.
Strome and Ovechkin seem to always be there. But I love Ovechkin's pass on this. Going back to my
Yeah.
dad's point, I mean, Strome to Ovi, but no one's expecting Ovi to then pass it right back, right? And so that's reminds me of
Ovi
Nicholas
being
Backstrom's role in a lot of
Yeah,
puck
but
handling.
Ovi being aware enough that he didn't really have the shot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it reminded me of the
'Cause-
chemistry of Ovi and Nicky, right? Where Nicky used to.
Yeah.
This is where Nicky got his goals, right? Was on the give and goes with Ovi a lot of the time, And so I'm happy to see it. This is still in his repertoire.
They're starting to click, which I think is a good thing. Because Minnesota
People are going to start to obviously go towards Ovechkin more, and so you need Strome to get going goal scoring wise to then start to pull that back the other way again, right? So
right.
Which should hopefully open it up. All right, let's get into the next goal. Alexei Protas, incredible player that he is. This is his fourth goal. Tom Wilson's already fourth assist of the season. But Gil, why don't you take away from there?
Okay, so great goal here. Great. They try to clear it. They don't. Wilson corrals it, draws all. Because you can see he draws just about all the defenders to him, and like everybody else. Protas has had a bit of an up and down season, but gets the goal here. So if we play this out, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down.
I'm really happy for Protas that he's off to a pretty decent start. I mean, they were all off to a slow start. Let's be honest here. They were off to a really slow start this season, but now things seem to be starting to click. So I think we're going to finish this month better than we started it for sure. And start November pretty well, pretty solid. But yeah, Pro doing Pro things. And now he can't give his brother grief for not having scored a goal because his brother scored the other night. So
this was a pretty good. This was a very good shot. I wish I had thought to get the still on it, but the shot actually goes 25. The defenseman, it goes under his leg and past Gustafsson, the goalie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought it actually went off McMichael, but then you watched it and it didn't. But when I watched it in real time, I thought at first it went off at McMichael, but man, it was pretty. He just snuck it right in there.
Yeah,
but Tom Wilson, gaining a crowd, having an assist, like doing all the dirty stuff to make it possible for the other players on the ice, right?
And again, look where the shot was, in front of the net. So
right, with so many people in front of the net. Look at how many numbers are up there. It's a maze. The goalie's lucky to be able to see anything from that at that point. And then there's tips and wrist shots going on and bouncing pucks, and it's hard to keep it all straight at that point, which is what you like to see if you're a Capitals fan. All right, we got in the third period Ovechkin finally getting the goal. There we go. So, there we go. Easily
the best of the night here. The classic one, not his second most classic, the one from the face-off. And what WTF?
Ovi off the draw.
What
man.
happened? Whoa, what's it? We got all this kind of speedy things. Yeah,
things that are
really fast. It's 898. This thing was a damn bullet. I had just looked up from my phone because they were on a break, and then they'd faced off. Next thing I knew, I heard the crack, and it was in the goal. Everybody stopped and cheered, and like I think Audie was telling me, we all were kind of dumbfounded because there was this split-second silence. Like, did that actually happen? And then the light goes on. Now we're sure. Yeah, because it was so fast.
I know.
Yeah,
what
it was incredibly
they call it a set
fast.
piece, right? So it's a set piece in the sense that like it's a single pass back. You get a clean, face-off win. You push it right to Ovi for the slap shot, and man, set it up perfectly. Speaking of Dylan Strome, be able to put the sauce, the perfect back pass like Nicholas Backstrom used to do, and then Ovi has to be able to time it and hit it perfectly, and it's in the back of the net before he knows what to do with it. And it's just, it's amazing that this is still in his repertoire, right? This is
well, no one expects it,
right?
They should, but they don't.
But it's so the opposite of his office, which is on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like it's vast. It comes at you in a very different angle.
Mm-hmm.
And although he's done it a lot, the goaltenders are more used to, the playoff positioning from the left side, and those sorts of plays. And so this one, it's hard to react to. I mean, there's nothing any goalie could do about that. It happens so quickly.
Absolutely not.
Very true.
Yeah.
No one expects it, just like the Spanish Inquisition.
All right, T4, any final thoughts on this one before we get into our last game?
Just Ovi off the draw. I always love to see it.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this next game. All right, we actually
had. I don't know if you want to jump ahead. We actually had 2 more goals in this game. I don't know if you want to just kind of go past them since we're getting low on time here, but that's your call.
Wait,
it was a 5-1. It was a 5-1 win. Yeah, it was a 5-1 win. I couldn't believe the amount of goals.
Yeah, you're right.
Actually 2 more goals.
I'm sorry.
In this game.
I misorganized the clips. Anyway, Dylan Strome, right? His second goal of the game. How can I forget this one?
Yes.
It was a thing of beauty, but I'll let Gil break it down.
Okay, so this is again another example of how the top line is clicking here. Faravari gets it into the zone. Beauvillier. Okay, so roll it back a bit if we could, Robbie, and hold it here, hold it there, right there. Do you see where Beauvillier is?
Mm-hmm.
Do we all see where he is? What have I been saying about Anthony Beauvillier?
That's where he needs to be.
Best damn player from the corner to the crease, and look where he is to make this play happen.
Yeah,
right there. Gets it to Strome, who's waiting at the right circle, and bang.
Yes.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Double Strome.
2 for the night for him.
I was hoping that he was going to get the hat trick, actually. Yeah, there was opportunities there.
Close. He came close.
He did.
C4, any quick thoughts on the second goal from Dylan Strome?
No, I think Gil said it all. It was a thing of beauty. Beauvillier doing what Beauvillier does and needs to do, and loved it.
Yeah.
I'm just thrilled that this top line's starting to click.
And another power play goal.
Can you believe it? Another power play goal scored by Tom Wilson. 2 in 1 week.
Can
you believe it? Tom Wilson is a cheat code, especially on the power play. 2-man game again. And, nothing special here. This actually, Wilson jumped up. So Carlson's going to take the shot here. And Wilson jumped up to try and get out of the way. It actually hit his skate blade and then went in.
Oh, I didn't see that. I mean, I know Wilson did it, but I didn't see where it hit.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but, being able to be in the right place at the right time, that's what you need to do. And
I'd have to see the live thing, but I wonder if it
he just
didn't hit his skate blade, if it
and
would
go in. Like, it's not direct. There's no way you could direct it. It literally bounced off of him, but he had his blades pointing in the right direction, as they say when skiing, right? So good for him, and that takes talent to be able to do it, because it's basically like a tip, But you have to be able to adjust your feet in the right direction. And I know he's not intentionally necessarily doing that, but it's not
Right.
accidental either, you know?
Right,
Like,
right.
No, absolutely not.
A redirect is allowed in the rules. It's not as long as it's not a distinct kicking motion, which it was
Right.
not. It's allowed.
yeah.
Yes.
And so I clearly think they must practice this too, you know, like just like they do the tip-ins because it was a thing of beauty. So, C4, any
Yes,
thoughts
sir.
on this one?
No, y'all said it all. I mean, thing of beauty, Tom Wilson doing Tom Wilson things right in front of that net, being ready for those rebounds, those tip ins. I love it, love it, love it.
All right, let's get into the next game, which started off terribly. There's a questionable officiating call here where I
Several.
think there's an argument to be made that there was goaltender interference. My whole thing is I think the goal happened maybe too much after the interference was happening. I think that you could still call it, don't get me wrong, but I think if the goal happened faster, like as he's being interfered with, I think this comes back. But because there's an opportunity to get back up potentially, they don't call it. That's my takeaway.
Well, but what I saw was he had it in the glove, and the guy
I don't think he ever
pulled it
did.
out
No, I don't think he ever.
at the
I'd
beginning.
love to believe that. I don't think he ever really got on top of it. I think his glove was on top of where the puck was, but it squirted out before he had actually clamped it.
Because what I saw was the guy took his stick and pulled it out.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that
But
angle too, but I think in real time
maybe
it
I
doesn't
saw
look
it
that
wrong.
way. Yeah, no, I saw that too. But what do you think, Gil? I still think. I don't know. I don't know what goaltender interference is.
I think it should have been called back. I think there was too much traffic in the crease. Even if the puck had gone in there, yes, you're allowed to follow the puck in there, but I think Evander Kane should have been called for goaltender interference because you can clearly see him pull Charlie Lindgren's glove off. And the definition of the rule, the letter of the law says cannot impede the goaltender's job. To me, that is what happened. He impeded the goaltender's job. He had to go get his glove. I mean, we stop play. Here's another wrinkle. We stop play when the goalie's mask comes loose, comes off. Why don't we stop play when any other equipment comes off except for his stick?
Right.
Why don't we do that? Why is not the rule amended to that? He's still, okay, loses his stick, fine. That's one thing. He's vulnerable, but he's not susceptible to injury. You lose a glove? Yeah, you got shots coming at you. You're still susceptible to injury.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get serious about player safety, NHL. Come on.
And if his reaction would be to stop it and his hand's not in it, he would try to stop it without one. I have no doubt in my mind, just as a reactionary thing.
Exactly.
And, so to speak to you, I can see that. I also can see, like, I think if they called it goaltender interference on the ice, it would have kept that too. It's just whether or not they had irrefutable evidence that it was, and that it directly impacted his ability to stop it after the fact. I think that there was too many beats afterwards, and they didn't feel like it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, I see your point. I get it, but until they actually define it.
Yeah, no, this is the biggest problem in the NHL is that this rule is so poorly defined, and I feel like it's up to officials discretion.
What is how do you know when a goaltender is impeded? I mean, that is so subjective.
And it's never gone in the Caps' favor. I feel like it's always against us either way, whether it's us interfering with their goalie or the opposite way. I would say 9 out of 10 times this doesn't go our way.
Twice it's gone our way, but not very often. No.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I don't like to be that kind of guy. But the reason I'm harping on it is because it didn't lead to one goal, but it leads to two, in the sense that, they get the power play and they score immediately on that. And that's kind of why I was of the mindset, don't challenge this. Just take the goal and move on. And I kind of wish that they had done that. I understand why they challenged it, but if they hadn't, I actually think we might win this game. Which, I hate to think that way, but
no, I'm kind of with you on that.
Yeah, the third goal is unfortunately potentially the difference maker in this game. the fact they got 2-for-1 in that, they only won by one. We were able to come back here, which I got to give us credit. Really gritty effort by the Capitals to, at 4-0, not just fold it in, but actually fight back into this. And a big reason was Ryan Leonard getting this first goal on the power play.
He's a kid that's not going to give up. He is not going to give up.
Yeah, for sure.
He just won't.
And that was the key to this play here. So we're starting it here. So yes, man advantage, bounce pass behind the net. Wilson does the bumper thing, and then Leonard actually took 2 whacks at this to get it in past Demko. Second time's the charm in this case. He's got this. Starts the rally, thank God, and someone else besides Tom Wilson gets a power play goal. So I think. They're clicking it now a robust 16% now on the power play with these miracle goals, but it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah. But he didn't give up on the puck. That's
right.
He was right there when the rebound came back and took another whack at it. He didn't shoot and run like you see a lot of these guys do. So, I mean,
so, Gil, do you think I should jump out and get a Ryan Leonard jersey? He's my next one I'm thinking about.
Absolutely. I would. Absolutely.
First of all, number 9 is my favorite number, and I don't have Dmitry Skorloff anymore. And, so I think I'm thinking about getting maybe the new Weagle, because I have the other 2, and at this point, I think I got to get the trifecta of not Weagles, of the Screaming Eagle.
Screaming
Eagle. Yeah, they're kind of sold out right now, except for the smaller sizes. So,
right. Well, it's just good. I'm a pretty small size, so I'm
not yeah. Some of us, never mind. Some of us aren't.
Yeah.
Some of us aren't as small as we'd like to be, but I like my jersey's kind of big anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. But my next one, I think I want Dubois. He's kind of my player this year, but he's kind of hurt right now. So
I'm just going to go quickly through these, just for the sake of time.
Yeah, these last 2 aren't as fancy. I was getting a little fatigued at this point. There's 11 goals this week.
Yeah,
10 or 11.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
A lot better than the previous week. So, but yeah, we things are going well. We did get 2 more, and John Carlson gets his first of the season here on basically a pass around multiple times, and then that's basically John Carlson's way he scores goals is from the blue line. So it's I'm happy to see that he get on the board, because he gets a lot of hate through the Caps community, unfortunately, which. I still think we had good value for that contract. I know that people will struggle, when he has a defensive faux pas, but I think that there is a lot of value still in John Carlson.
I think there's more value to John Carlson not on the power play.
All right. Maybe.
My opinion, he's not terrible, but I don't think he needs to be on the first line power play anymore. And same with Ovi. I think it's time to let those guys get a little rest, put the younger guys in. We saw what happened when we put Leonard on that first power play. They scored. Ovi on the power play. I'm sorry, it's just not working right now. I'm sorry, it's just not for me.
Yeah, but I wonder. I'd still keep Ovi there as just a decoy, because you just know that, he draws so many people, and that as a minimum could open up, space for other players. I could see John Carlson maybe not being the guy. I just don't know. Gil, who would you want to quarterback the PowerPoint except for 74?
I think Chikrin's definitely capable, although strangely enough, on this goal here, you can't see his number, but he's the one buried in front of the crease here. He's the one putting his body on the line and being the screen. There he is popping out there. So that was kind of an interesting line. Of course, it was 6-on-5 at the time. But so that's a role he could probably play. But he can definitely we've seen him do some acrobatics, shall we say, to keep the puck from crossing the blue line the other way. So yeah, I would trust him there.
Maybe Sandine.
Maybe
but
Sandine, but I don't know if I trust him as much
no.
with that. So
My
I would have to say Chikrin for sure.
hmm Yeah, and then so Chikrin, Leonard, Willie, and Strome, and then pick your poison for the fifth on the power play.
Yeah. Maybe Beauvillier with his speed.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. For the sake of time, I'm just going to give a quick update on the schedule. So we're all going to the Seattle game. So the three of us will be back next week, hopefully, if C4 can make it as well, to break down our thoughts on all going to the game. We also are going to Columbus on Friday and then have another back-to-back, and that'll be Saturday, Ottawa back home. So a quick one-game road trip to Columbus before Ottawa. I'll just get C4, your quick thoughts on Seattle, Columbus, and Ottawa?
In theory, they're all winnable games. I haven't checked the standings recently to see where everybody else is. Columbus is always tough. I mean, that one can go either way. Ottawa, I think, has actually been doing surprisingly well this year. Let's see standings. Here we go.
They're 2 and 4, I think.
Are they? Okay, so maybe not as well as I thought. But they are all, in theory, winnable games. I think the toughest one is going to be Columbus, especially since we're in their barn. But I see no reason we shouldn't come out of here with at least 4 points.
Yep. Gil, what are some of your thoughts?
It's possible, but I think it's going to be all of these games are going to be a lot closer than you think. Seattle's actually doing fairly well. They were in the third spot.
Yeah. I didn't say they were going to be easy
in the Pacific, but yeah, no, they're always a tough out, as is Columbus. Columbus, I don't think, has as much of the firepower, so that might be their end. And then Ottawa, we got to figure out a way to nullify their speed, countermeasure their speed, because if they stand around and let them skate circles around them, they're doomed. And we've seen that many a time. But they suffer from the same thing Columbus does. They don't have the firepower. And I thought I saw Brady Tkachuk is injured. I don't know what his status will be come this game because it was a while ago it happened.
Right.
But if they're missing him, then that's a good chunk of their game that they're, they won't have available. But it's still going to be difficult. As long as the Caps don't play down to their competition like they tend to do, it should be a reasonably successful week. I'll take 3 points, 4 points, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure we'll get 6, but I'll be happy with 4. You want a treat?
Yeah. I'm going back to our main scene right now because I want to do the Gil command and the C4 command. So again, you go check out the Power Play Point podcast, a great new episode out of this week. And then also C4, go check her out at the All Sports and Podcast Network on YouTube. There also you can check out the Sekurum's Capitals Off the Chain podcast. I have the Spotify link as well.
Sorry, the dog is
well, C4, I'm gonna let
somebody's
you guys
trying
go.
to raid my pantry. One of the animals is, I think, raiding the pantry.
That's funny.
Oh my goodness, my poor cat was locked in my pantry.
Oh no.
I'll get him out in a minute.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh, poor thing.
The economy's going bad everywhere.
Oh, my poor cat. He hides in the he gets in there, and then I close it and lock it up because the other cat tries to get in. And
Oh no. It's sabotage.
Oh, poor little guy. I'll get him out in a minute.
All right, sounds good. Well, C4, thank you so much for joining us, and I appreciate
You're welcome.
you as
Always a pleasure.
And I hope to see you tomorrow. That would be really fun. So,
I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be great. And Gil, any final thoughts before we let you go?
Well, hope the Caps do well this week. Going to be a pleasure seeing you in person once again, and hope we bring back the win.
Yep, sounds good. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it as always, and we'll talk to you guys next week, hopefully with some pictures and videos of hopefully a win to show next week on the podcast.
Sounds good. Talk to you
All right.
soon.
All right. Night, guys.
All right. Good night. Go Cats.
All right. All right, we're gonna bring in Sith and Champ. Champ, there's some exciting news going on in the wrestling world. We're gonna start there because I know that C4 is a wrestling fan as well. And so, Champ, it was just announced right before they went, or during Raw, right, that there was going to be this. This special matchup to decide who fights Punk in the Sunday or Saturday event.
Yes, so it was already reported that during Crown Jewel Perth, during the Crown Jewel Championship, Seth Rollins, who was the current World Heavyweight Champion, suffered a severe shoulder injury during that matchup, and so they had to accelerate the vision turning on him last week. And it has been reported that he has had surgery, and he's looking at a 6 to 9 month recovery time, which means that he will most likely be out past WrestleMania. So they had to vacate. Well, in kayfabe, they stripped him of the title, but they had to vacate the World Heavyweight Championship, and there's currently a battle royal going on in the main event to determine who will face CM Punk in a couple weeks' time at Saturday night's main event to determine a new World Heavyweight Champion. Right now, the Judgment Day's Finn Balor is just got eliminated by Sheamus, so and JD McDonough tried as well, and he's about to get the 10 beats to the Balor. But whoever wins this battle royal will face CM Punk at Saturday night's main event to determine who will be the new World Heavyweight Champion, as Sheamus is now out thanks to Kofi Kingston. But yeah, that's what's going on. Unfortunately, for the second time in his career, Seth Rollins is going to be a champion and have his championship taken from him because of injury and because of long-term injury, which, man, I mean, if it wasn't for bad luck, that man would have no luck at all, honestly.
Yeah, so...
Goodbye, Dominic!
Yep.
So, for people that don't know, a Battle Royale is basically the same thing as the Royal Rumble, right? That is just like the most famous one.
Yes.
Yeah, so those are the same rule sets. I just want, for people who might not be aware of that. So that means you knock them over the top ring, and if they land outside of the ring, they then are disqualified from that match. So
yeah, over the top rope, both feet touch the floor, you're eliminated. You go back to the locker room, though. Right there, Dominic got eliminated, but all the referees were getting the Judgment Day and Sheamus out, so they didn't see his elimination, so he's still in.
Got it. And can they review that later or no? This is just
no.
They're going, yeah. So we'll keep on watching that. We had a Monday Night Football game. The Lions just won their game, and it just switched over now to the Seahawks versus Houston Texans game, and Seattle is still up 3-1 over Toronto. Sith, I wanted to get your take on being stripped of the championship, and it's kind of like, I wonder if it's like karma, by pulling that whole stunt with, is his legs really broken or whatever, and then he comes out and wins the championship because of injury. It just seems very fitting that he also loses it because of injury. What are your thoughts?
Here's the thing, though, and it's something that I discussed with you and Champ several months ago. When you had the storyline injury to the knee back over the summer, here's what cracks me up. Seth Rollins joked on a radio show saying that, Becky Lynch, his wife, had to lie to all the family, all of their friends, saying, oh God, he's badly injured. But their daughter was funny. They told her, sweetie, daddy has a make-believe boo-boo. So what does she do? Runs off and tells her teacher.
Right.
I told my teacher, boo-boo. Because it was a game. Because, like with children, we tell them always tell the truth, never lie. Well, she's only 4, so loose lips sink ships at times, so there you go. But I don't see it as karma. I see it as a case of, with this happening so quickly, so, close together, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me type deal, where I think a lot of people, when they saw that flying headbutt on replay and how Seth landed, they knew something bad was happening here. And there was no way to work around the storyline except to say that, yes, he is legitimately injured. He has to go in for surgery 6 to 9 months, where if you do the math, 6 months from now is April 20th, which is right around WrestleMania weekend. So I think the soonest we see him back is either Backlash, which I think might be in Italy. We'll have to wait and see how that works because WWE early next year will be having a PLE in Italy, but also Money in the Bank. But the irony is that when he came back from an ACL MCL tear that he had back in 2015, they had him into a really good story when he came back, and then he eventually became champion again. So I like how this is all playing out, and especially after Paul Heyman begged Adam Pearce tonight, can you please put Bronson, and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker in the match? Asked nicely. And Pierce is like, no, boom, shuts his door and says, good night type attitude, which just adds more comedy to the story. So, all in
So they're
all,
not going to be in. I just assumed that they were going to be in this. So they're not even in. Neither of them are. And
they're not. Matter of fact, Kofi just got eliminated by AJ
have
Styles.
all the contestants been announced, or are there still surprise contestants coming?
No, everybody's already in. It's not the Royal Rumble is where everybody comes in at time intervals. A battle royal, everybody's already in the ring, and they start like that. So everybody that was going to be in it was already in it. It's now down to Dirty Dom, who successfully defended his Intercontinental title against Rusev, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, LA Knight, and one half of the new World Tag Team Champions, AJ Styles. AJ and Dragon Lee beat JD McDonough and Finn Balor earlier tonight to become new tag team champions. So those are the ones that are left in this matchup right now.
That'd be crazy if Dirty Dom
defended now
held 3 titles, because he still has the Luchador title too, right?
Yes, he is still the mega champion. Is Dominic Mysterio?
Has he done anything to continue that storyline specifically, or how does that work?
I have to go back and look because I know AAA. No, was it CMLL that had a show on Friday night, and that's where Mercedes Moné retained the CMLL World Women's Championship, and then the following night at Wrestle Dream became the interim Women's World TV Champion for her 11th championship, and then she went up to Winnipeg and won their Women's Championship. So now Mercedes Moné is running around here with 12 fucking championship belts. And the wrestling world is over it. Yeah. She's now calling herself Mercedes Ultimo Moné because of the fact that now she has beaten Ultimo Dragon's record of championship belts held simultaneously. He held 10, she has 12.
So how does that work when you hold multiple belts for different things? You still defend each one of them separately, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that'd be wild if Dominic has an opportunity to gain a third different belt at the same time. Have anyone ever held the Intercontinental and the actual championship one, or at the same time?
Ultimate Warrior. Remember, he was the Intercontinental champion when he beat Hogan at WrestleMania decades ago. But I think he relinquished the Intercontinental championship shortly after he won at WrestleMania. So he didn't actually hold it simultaneously, but he was the Intercontinental champion when he won the WWF championship from Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania a decade or so, 2-3 decades ago.
Yeah, WrestleMania 6.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One of the few people that Hogan put over.
Oh, Jay! Jay is going to Saturday night's main event against Punk.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
And Jimmy's pissed. I wasn't looking, but I think he eliminated his brother to survive.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Usos are going to detonate.
Interesting. That's an interesting matchup right there. I wouldn't have expected that to be.
Oh, God. They're looking at each other.
So the IC title wasn't that on the line too against Rusev?
That was on the line tonight, and he retained over Rusev.
Got it. Okay.
He retained. So, yeah, that was on the line tonight, and he retained.
I was kind of waiting for Rusev to win that, and then Cena trying to take the IC title off of Rusev. That would have been a pretty funny storyline. But
yeah, I don't think Cena's winning any more titles. He only has 4 dates left. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Not because he has 4 more dates left. He has 2 this month. Boston and Madison Square Garden in back-to-back weeks. Then next month he has Survivor Series War Games in San Diego, and then he has here in DC. And by the way, WWE ought to be ashamed of themselves for how much they charging for tickets for Capital One Arena. They gotta be out.
Let's go! 3-run home run. Toronto takes a 4-3 lead.
Oh my
go!
Goodness, I gotta, man. They gotta hurry up and end this so I can watch that because I got a lot to say about the NLCS. Trust me, I got a lot to say about that if we got time.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely talk baseball at the end of this for sure. Seattle is up 7-0 over Houston in that other Monday Night Football game, and I don't know if people heard me, but yes, the Lions did win their game earlier, as we've had 2 Monday Night Football games plus a baseball game, but huge 3-run. I love this too. Whenever someone scores a home run, they put on this jacket on them as they enter the dugout as they're high-fiving everybody. I think
because Vladdy got it. Vladdy got it last night during Game 6. It was so hilarious.
Yeah, I love that. That is a cool tradition. It kind of reminds me of like a championship belt-esque thing, walking through the dugout wearing that, and I don't know, it's cool. Anyway, I'm excited. They need to get the bats alive here. We're in the 7th inning, so we're in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out. If people want to be following along on that, but tons of exciting stuff in wrestling, tons of exciting stuff in baseball. But we do need to talk Commanders for just a few minutes. We don't have to harp on it. It was a poor experience for us Commanders fans. I'll just put it that way. But I know Sith wanted to get some stuff off his chest, so I'm going to let him start off with our assessment on this.
Yeah, get your shit off, Sith.
We over-succeeded expectations last year. We greatly exceeded them. I'm sick to death of people melting down every time we lose a game, acting like the world has come to a cataclysmic fucking end. Calm the fuck down, people. Rebuilding is not a sprint, it is a marathon. We exceeded expectations last year majorly. We were banged up bad. We continued to get banged up throughout the game yesterday. And as Coach Quinn said after the game, we did not play to the best of our potential. We cannot afford to let adversity get to us on the field, and we have to get back to being business as usual, no matter who's on the field at any given time. It's difficult. I've got us losing to Kansas City next week. It's going to be difficult the next several weeks. But take in mind, if this were the Snyder ownership, he would already start treating it like fantasy league and already start demanding that shit happens. That doesn't make any fucking sense because he ran the team like a fantasy league when he was the owner. People need to stop calling for people to be fired. Not saying that players aren't immune from criticism. Lattimore is just ass. even though he admits that he screwed up, this is becoming a weekly thing. Y'all saw the pass interference penalty on that first drive. What the fuck was he doing? That led to right there. Why did we go for 2 after scoring a touchdown? After getting the safety, why did we go for 2 points? Should have gone for 1. We made so many mistakes on offense, defense, as far as both sides of the ball goes yesterday, that by the time Mariota came in, the damage was already done.
I think when you chase points too early, it sends the wrong signal to the team. Like just take the extra point at that point, like, and make the safety just be the 2 points that it is. I understand that they're a good field goal kicking team, and you're trying to outthink yourself in some ways, thinking there's going to be a field goal later on that you're going to have to counteract or whatever. But let it play out. Like I just feel like it's just very, very frustrating. Just injuries are piling up, which is very frustrating. And I just want to point out real quickly, this is pretty much exactly where I had us. But it's interesting to look, back, where we thought the team would be. And, I think Sith thought, based on last year, we could only have 1 loss at this point. And I understand that assessment, but I did not. And I also still had us losing to Kansas City. It was the only game, by the way, that at Kansas City where everybody on this pick has us having an L. So it'll be interesting next week that we got to do that live and cover it live. Hopefully it'll go better than last week. But Seth, I agree. With the number of injuries we had, I just felt – I was talking to some people about this at a birthday party this past weekend. Last year, I think we got really lucky with the injury bug. It didn't really hit us too hard and didn't expose some of the depth problems that we have. But this year, we haven't been so lucky. And so a lot of these coin flip situations, a la the Bears, where we came out on the right side of it last year, we're coming out on the wrong side of it this year. On the bright side, after the Kansas City game, there are definitely some winnable games. I mean, Dugenais had us go in on a 7-game win streak after the Kansas City game. I hope that something like that, happens. It's very doable. We have, Seattle and Detroit at home. Then we're going, playing against a Miami team that's in disarray in Spain. And then we have a bye week, a late bye, which I like. And then we're playing Denver at home, so you don't have to go to the Mile High. And Denver looks like they could easily be exposed based on what the Giants were able to do to them, even if they were able to come back. And then we got Minnesota and the Giants at home. Both both on the road. I think we'll lose the Minnesota, but we could beat the Giants. And then the real question, we have Philadelphia and Dallas at home, back to back. If we can somehow get healthy by then and win those 2 games, we're right back in it for the division. And then we have the last game of the season at Philadelphia, where again, you sweep those 3 games at the end of it, and it changes how the whole season looks, right? So, it's not over. People shouldn't think of it that way, but we got to get healthier. We got to clean up a lot of mistakes across the board. Champ, I want to get some of your thoughts. I'm going to fill my water while you do that, and then I'll be right back.
Right. So this was probably one of the worst performing games under Coach Dan Quinn. And there weren't many in his first season, and this being his second season, but this was definitely a very poor performing game for the Commanders. They only had 341 yards of total offense to Dallas' 409 through the air. Just it wasn't any better. Only 205 to Dallas' 257. Rush yards, Dallas also had the edge, 152 to our 136. Only 21 first downs for Dallas, 18 for Washington. The third down efficiency was where it really killed the Commanders. 7 of 16 on third downs, only 43.7%. It's only just under 44% on third downs. Dallas was 50-50, 6 of 12 on third down. So that 44% also contributed to the time of possession. Dallas had the ball for 31 minutes, 21 seconds. Washington only 28 minutes and 39 seconds. The big thing, though, was the penalties. Both teams had double digits in accepted penalties. Washington had 11, Dallas had 10, but the difference was the yardage. Washington's accepted penalties were up to 118 yards total, while Dallas, they only had 79 yards of penalties in those 10 penalties. So that was a big thing right there, was that the yardage was a big thing, and they had one more penalty than the Cowboys. Jaden Daniels, before he exited the game with that hamstring injury, was 12 of 22, 156 yards. He had the passing touchdown to Zach Ertz. He also had 35 yards on the ground on 8 carries, and he had the rushing touchdown. And again, he left the game with the hamstring injury. Dan Quinn said in his presser today that it's not serious. It's not over need of over concern, but his status still is kind of up in the air for Monday night. He does have an extra day before the Monday night game to determine if JD5 is going to start again in Kansas City, or if they're going to go with Marcus Mariota. Mariota came in relief. He only went 4 of 10 for 63 yards. He had that pick 6 to Deron Bland, and he also had 2 carries for 34 yards. Dak Prescott came into this game 6-0 against the Commanders. He's now 7-0 with 20 touchdown passes and no picks against this team in his career. He went 21-30, 264 yards, and 3 touchdown passes for Dak. Of course, he didn't play against the Commanders last year because of the torn hamstring injury that he dealt with that had him out for half of the season.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because I was like, that's crazy to me that he's never beat us. But I knew that we had won. I know we hadn't lost that many games in a row against Dallas, but but when he plays, he seems to just destroy us. And,
yeah. But
I'm of the mindset you play Marcus Mariota next week either way. You don't risk injury to the Golden Cow. It's just like
I'll get to that in a second. But there's something else that really stood out to me, and that was the last couple of weeks. This offense has been really good with the run, but unfortunately, the running backs for the Commanders only a combined 18 carries for 67 yards and a touchdown. Now, yes, they had 136 yards rushing as a team, but only 67 of those came from your running backs, with Chris Rodriguez being the only one to score. Bill Krosky-Merritt only had 33 yards on 13 carries, so he could barely get the game rolling. And then, of course, when the game got out of hand, of course, the game script kind of changes a little bit, where you rely more on the pass than you do the run, because you want to try to get those points back quickly. While Javonte Williams by himself for the Cowboys, one extra carry, 19 carries, 116 yards, and a touchdown. And then on the receiving side of things, Jalen Lane was the leading receiver for the Commanders. He only had 3 catches for 60 yards. Of course, Ertz had the touchdown catch. He had 3 catches for 37 yards. CeeDee Lamb, his first game back after missing the last 3 or 4 games with a hamstring injury, 5 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. So he made immediate impact in his first game back from his injury. George Pickens continues to be really good this season. 4 catches, 82 yards. He didn't score a touchdown, but he was definitely very, very, very good in this game. And Jake Ferguson, 7 catches, 29 yards. He caught 2 of Dak Prescott's 3 touchdowns as Bassett just really mowed down Seattle there. 1-2-3 inning, 2 groundouts, and a beautiful strikeout, a beautiful curveball that was a borderline strikeout, I will have to say. But either way, he got it. So Toronto still has a 4-3 lead going into the bottom of the 8th. But this was not a very good performance by the Commanders under any stretch of the imagination. But they got to have a short memory. They got to wipe the slate clean, because they're going into an extremely difficult environment of GEHA field at Arrowhead, and facing a Chiefs team that has turned it on after losing 3 of their first 4 games of the season. Well, 2 of their first 3 games of the season. The Chiefs have turned it on, and they are now looking like the team that we have all grown tired of over the last several years, and that scares the absolute shit out of me, especially with the way our secondary is playing. I can only imagine what's going to happen dealing with Juju Smith-Schuster, Rashid Rice, and Xavier Worthy, and Travis Kelce. That's not good. That's a game that if the Commanders somehow go into Kansas City and win that game, I will be absolutely surprised. I'm going to root for them, but I feel like they're going to lose this game, and they may end up losing this game by a lot because secondary is not playing. They're not playing the way they should be. Trey Amos, he's a rookie, so you know he's going to have some issues. Sandra still has been the most consistent in the secondary. And Marshawn Lattimore is not playing up to the standard that he made for himself when he was in New Orleans.
Yeah, I will say that we are not going to cover the entire game next week unless it's close. If it's within a touchdown or two, we'll continue for the fourth quarter. We'll cover the third quarter, and we'll cover our live thoughts on it, but I'm not going to stay up super late if we're getting just punished. I'm not going to put us through that, and as you know, I think that's seemingly respectable for all parties involved. I wanted to pull up something real quickly because I'm very proud of myself and the comeback that I'm having in this week. We're going to throw up the pick'em. What a terrible start I had of the week. First of all, who had Cincinnati beating Pittsburgh with old Joe Flacco? And
the Unk Bowl was so much fun to watch. If nobody watched that game, you missed out. The Unk Bowl was so much fun between Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco. That was a fun game.
Yeah,
that was a fun fucking game.
I actually missed that one. And then I put too much stock in the Jaguars. First of all, they're having a great start to the season, and they play across the pond more than any other team, so I thought they'd be used to it. I did not expect them to get destroyed in this game. I mean, the Rams needed to get right game, but I was not, the Jaguars have looked good all season.
Matthew Stafford had to remind people, y'all know who the fuck I am?
Yeah.
He had to remind
the Europeans about it too. So, but wild. So anyway, I had a bad start. Well, this is setting the tone, right? This is not a great way to start your week. But I was right on the Bears, right on the Patriots, right on the Panthers, right on the Chiefs, right on the Browns, Eagles, the Colts, Broncos, although this was barely. We'll talk about that game in a second. Right on the Cowboys, right on the Packers, right on the 49ers, right on the Lions. And if the Seahawks, who are up 14-0, is right, I will have run the table after those first two losses, which,
that's insane.
That's pretty good. So I'm hoping for that 13-0 run after that, but we'll see. So that's what we're watching at right now to see the comeback. But let's go back to a couple of these games. Bears ones don't really need to talk about. The Patriots beat a terrible Titans team. The Panthers, though, have 4 wins. They may have the luckiest scheduling I've ever heard, but they get to play the Jets, who put up 6 points at home.
The Jets are so terrible. Like, Justin Fields left the game with a potential concussion. He got cleared, got back out there, stunk it up, and they benched him for Tyrod fucking Taylor. That team is absolute dog shit.
The Raiders, though, they can't even put up a point against this rivalry. This is a historic rivalry, right?
That team's even worse.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The Browns making the Dolphins look pathetic. Now that one Dolphins win seems so long ago, like they've got to fire that coach badly.
The Dolphins are just as bad as both of those teams we just mentioned, the Raiders and the fucking Jets. Miami is god awful. Yeah. Tua got to get benched.
There's a button we have in no spots for trash.
Trash.
Yep.
Eagles beat the Vikings. That's a little bit of a closer game, so we thought the Vikings had, we talked about this last week, an opportunity there. But the Eagles go on the road and they right the ship after losing the previous 2 weeks. The Colts continue that hot streak. This was the game I kept on going back and forth with last week, champ. But I did stick with the Colts. Literally 5 minutes before game time, I switched it back to the Colts. It was on the Chargers. I kept on going back and forth on that one. This Broncos-Giants game, the Giants had this game in hand. They were up 3 touchdowns with 6 minutes left in this game. The Broncos score 3 touchdowns in a row to take the lead. Then the New York Giants go down the field and score a touchdown to take the lead themselves, but leave the Broncos too much time. The Broncos go down the field and score a game-winning field goal to win that one 33-32.
You're not telling the whole story, Robbie. The Denver Broncos scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. 33. Yes, the Giants did go down the field and score a touchdown. Jackson Dart ran it in for a touchdown, which was reviewed and upheld. But then they missed the extra point, leaving it with only a 2-point lead. And that 1 point was the big difference because then Bo Nix brings them down the field and makes the game-winning field goal. But 33 points in the fourth quarter. After the Giants were dominating for 3 quarters, they let up in the fourth quarter and they end up losing in Denver. Oh, Giants, y'all just continue to make me as a Commanders fan so happy that you're in our division because you're so fucking ass. You're so fucking ass.
I'll leave y'all with a quote from The Godfather Part 3. Just when you thought the Giants were out, they pulled you back in where it comes to Giants fans and their misery. I have a friend that I went to high school with, and she's absolutely awesome. She's a good friend still to this very day. We talk, periodically, and she's a Giants fan. And she messaged me after what happened with Dallas and Washington, asking if I'm okay. And I said, I'll be fine. I said, to me, we overachieved last year. So this year's kind of a little bit of a snap back to reality that we're rebuilding. We still have more pieces to put into play before everything happens. And she said, yeah. She said with the Giants, she said she watches it and it's like watching a bad movie every week.
Yes, if you should have asked her if she's okay instead of her asking if you're okay. The fuck?
No.
We just got curb stomped. They had the game in hand and they lost.
Yeah, my dad and I were talking after the game that he would much rather get destroyed than lose this way because that's got to suck to be up that big and then fall apart.
They asked her, is she okay? And she said that she would have rather sat through the 2005 remake of The Fog. And I said, why the fuck would you want to subject yourself to that? The original is a classic.
Yeah.
And she said that's how bad the Giants are, that she would rather sit through one of the worst remakes of all time than watch the Giants play every week. Because she has Sunday tickets, so she watches all the Giants games that aren't available when the Commanders are going to play them. And so she's watching. She said that thankfully she had other options because of Sunday Ticket and Red Zone, because she was just the Giants fan base and the Jets fan base, that whole New York City tri-state area that encompasses the New York metropolitan area. New York sports radio has got to be losing their fucking minds over these teams right now. I mean, we've got it bad with the Commanders right now because of injuries and the team isn't congealing the way they should right now, mainly because of that. But the Giants and the Jets are just...
So my dad's worried that the Cowboys are going to come on strong in the second half of the season and actually win this division. Sith, I want to pose that to you. Are you worried about that? I know their defense is trash, but their offense is clicking. Where do you still think this is the Eagles' division at this point, or?
I'll be going to the Eagles because they have the better defense. That's my key point there, is that the Eagles have a better defense. When you go back and you look at the really awesome Super Bowl teams, yes, they had really good offenses, but they were spearheaded also by really awesome defenses. Dallas doesn't have that as good as a defense as Philadelphia, so I think the Eagles still take the division.
By the way, an update on the ALCS. Blue Jays had first and third with no one out and a batter lined into a 3 unassisted double play. He caught it on the line out, and then the runner on first was too far off the bag, and he was able to step on it for 2, and then they grounded out to end the inning. So no runs for the Blue Jays, but Mariners have 8-9-1 coming up with a chance to try to avoid elimination, but it's not looking good for them. We'll have to see if they go to the closer out of the bullpen to finish this one off and send the Blue Jays to the World Series and continue Seattle Mariners' drought. Mariners are the only team in the major leagues that have never been to a World Series. And unless they could get a lead and hold them off in the ninth, that drought is going to continue another season.
That's
All right,
crazy.
now I'm going to leave y'all with this where it comes to the Mariners. They have no one to blame but themselves. They had a good lead against Toronto early on in the series. And do you allow the team to come back? No, you cannot do that. They allowed Toronto to get back into the series, and now Toronto's going in saying, hey, we got nothing to lose. Well, unlike the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, but yeah, you never know. With Toronto and their terrible luck, this is not over. So, we'll see how this plays out. But I'm happy the champ that you saw that, because that unassisted double play was pretty amazing by Seattle there. And we'll definitely talk about it. But Sid, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm not sure if you're going to join us for the watch along next week.
I won't be around next week. Next week,
Okay.
I'm going to take the week off.
Okay.
From this pod. But on the basement on Spotify, we are still doing the top 580 songs ranked by Billboard. Yesterday, what came out was numbers 200 to 151. The one that's coming out this Sunday at 5 p.m. is 151 to 100. And in Q&A, someone asked me today my 10 favorite horror films from the 80s, one for every year. And Champ, you'll be glad to know what 1986 is.
Okay.
The Fly.
Nice.
I nearly shouted you and your dad out, as well as my dad, for that one, because I'm going to be recording it tomorrow. But I wanted to shout out both of our dads because they exposed us to that movie. And I love Cronenberg. Y'all know this. I'm a big fan of David Cronenberg. That's one of his best movies, with the body horror and how, I'm trying to think of his name real quick, on The Fly, that played the main character, Jeff Goldblum, how he metamorphoses throughout the film from being a human being into that creature of the fly is just amazing with the body horror effects. And like what I said earlier with a friend of mine, my favorite from 1980 is actually John Carpenter's The Fog. So if you guys are looking for a really good ghost movie, if you're looking for a good ghost movie thriller, check out The Fog from 1980.
Well, what just happened in this football game?
I don't know, but they just got a strikeout on a beautiful four-seamer up in the zone to get one away. 2 outs from the World Series are the Toronto Blue Jays.
What? All right, there's a safety now in this football game.
Well, the Commanders got a safety in the game against Dallas.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's replay it back here. He steps back. He gets stripped of the ball, and it's on the 5-yard line. And he picks it up to try to score a touchdown, and then he drops it, so he doesn't get possession of it. And he then gets a safety because the other team jumps back on it to prevent the touchdown, but they do have to give up the 2 points. Anyway, wild play there. But yeah, that was a really nice fastball for the out too. And they happen simultaneously. So shout out to YouTube TV for that. But Seth, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry you won't be there for the live one, but we'll get you back on in an upcoming week, and appreciate all the insight as always. And again, you can search Sith's Basement. I'll show you what it looks like for anybody that doesn't. I get it on Apple Podcasts, but this is what get his mug right there on the so it sits
ugly looking fucking mug before I curl this gray hair. God damn it.
So you got Sith's Basement. It's on Spotify, but on all podcast platforms as well. So check that out. As he's part of the True Radio Network. This is the trio that's still got it going. So keeping it going after all these years. So thank you, Sith. Appreciate your time as always.
All right, we will talk to you guys later. Be well, be excellent to each other, and, well, I would say party on, but the Commanders really need to just focus. We'll party on once we start winning again.
Oh, doors! Another strikeout.
Yeah.
Nice.
Listen, when you have the last name of Hoffman, you have to be a good closer. Because remember, Trevor Hoffman, one of the most legendary, devastating closers in baseball. If you have that last name, and if he is related to Trevor Hoffman, he definitely better be a good closer. Otherwise, what are you doing?
Exactly. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Well, everyone.
All right. We're going to keep going through the games. We were talking about this Cowboys game, the Packers, a Cardinals game. This was a pretty exciting game that went back and forth. Jeff, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I do. I mean, Packers coming off a bye week, and they came out and they really had to fight to be able to win in the desert, but they were able to do so. Arizona not having Kyler Murray for the second game in a row because of injury, and Jacoby Brissett played pretty well, just not well enough to give them the W, but still a really good performance from both teams. This was definitely a fun game to watch.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, the next one is the 49ers and the Falcons. The Falcons kept it close for a big part of this game, but the 49ers were able to hold on for the 20-10 victory, primarily because they played some pretty good defense on a decent Falcons team. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, Falcons did play some really good defense. They did get a couple takeaways in this one. But I think the big thing was CMC on running backs day going off for over 100 yards rushing and 78 yards receiving. He had over 200 yards from scrimmage, including a couple rushing touchdowns, and really made the difference in this game, including in the fourth quarter when they were trying to salt the game away. It was 3rd and long, and he ends up getting free and getting open for that critical first down to allow them to run the clock out and win this game. So CMC was definitely the MVP of this game. And Atlanta continues to just burn hot and cold. Like 1 week they'll be their offense will look weird, and the next week their offense blows up as Trevor Hoffman strikes out the side in order, and the Blue Jays are going to the World Series.
Let's go Toronto. Max Scherzer returns to the World Series.
Yo, did you see Mad Max the other day when he started and his pitcher and his manager came out? He gave him that look like, motherfucker, you ain't taking me out. And a manager was like, you know what? You're right. I'm going. And then he proceeded to strike the batter out to get out of the inning. That is why Mad Max is a fucking legend.
That's amazing.
Shit, that was awesome. Oh, congrats to Toronto. Commiserations to Mariners fans. Their drought continues. They still have not made a World Series, man. But Vladdy Jr., I'm so happy for Vladdy Jr., man. That dude is a cool dude, man. I'm going to love this matchup. Dodgers and Blue Jays. This is going to be a phenomenal World Series matchup, especially with I'm gonna say it like this: if the Dodgers starting pitches the way they did in this NLCS, this is going to be a very interesting series because the Dodgers, they're in the NLCS, and I saw this stat on social media. There's 4 starting pitchers that pitched in the NLCS. Their combined ERA was 0.63. They only gave up 4 runs as a team, as a staff. 4 runs. The starters, 0.63 ERA, 35 strikeouts. Yamamoto, complete game, only gave up the 1 run, 3 hits, struck out, I believe, 7. But Shohei Ohtani just basically owned it in his start in game 4. He goes out first inning, strikes out the side in order, boom. Then immediately goes to the dugout. All his stuff is there to get ready to bat because he's batting 3rd in the lineup. Then he gets up to bat and it hits a home run that pretty much leaves the stadium. And then he goes on to hit 2 more home runs and strike out 10 in I believe 5 innings of work. The single most historic and impressive performance you could ask for of one single player in a playoff game. Not just a playoff game, just in a baseball game alone, but in a playoff game, especially a championship series game, to finish off a sweep of the best team who was the best team in the National League. Just absolutely unbelievable. And he was worthy of winning MVP for the National League Championship Series. This series between Toronto and LA is going to be absolutely awesome. And I'm going to make sure I try to watch every game and come back and talk about it here, because this is going to be a really good series.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm texting some of our friends to see if they were watching live or want to.
I'm sure Janaea is running around her place of residence.
She often has to DVR these on Mondays because she has to work. So I don't even know if she's seen it yet. So like, that's why I messaged her. I was like, "Are you watching this live?" I was not, So, and then I know that KR has to work and as a bar back a lot of Monday nights. So I don't. The two people I'd want on to celebrate it right now are both not answering. I thought I didn't want to say anything or like put anything in the universe to jinx it. So that's why I didn't ask them ahead of time. But yeah. Anyway, I'm just so excited, and hopefully maybe I can get one of them to come on next week. To talk about the World Series in action. They usually announce the World Series schedule ahead of time. Do we know?
Game one is Friday.
Series schedule.
Yeah, they already put the schedule out before the end of the series. They already put the schedule out. The game one is on Friday.
And there's going to be a game on Monday, it looks like. So it's Friday, Saturday. They take Sunday off as travel day. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, take Thursday off as travel day. And then Friday, and then would have to have another travel day. No, it would be Friday, Saturday, because it's 2-3-2. Yeah. So I like that about baseball, that they do it this way. Just because it feels more like it does in the regular season, in the sense that it's like these mini series within it, versus the 2-2-1-1-1 thing that other sports do.
Yeah.
I like that it's kind of unique too. Because basketball and hockey do it the other way. But I'm so excited. So yeah, there'll probably be a live game next Monday. So that's going to be a crazy podcast, champ. We're going to have a live World Series game and a live Commanders game next week on the podcast. I got to talk about going to the live game with C4. So a lot to break down next week for sure. So I'm excited about that one. But congratulations. Wait, why did the safety come back? Why did they? I'm so confused. It's 14-0 again. I started being very invested in the baseball
congratulations to it was Jeff Hoffman that got the save. He has no relation to Trevor Hoffman, but again, I say if you're going to have the last name of Hoffman, you better be a hell of a closer and be able to close out a game, because otherwise, why do you have that last name anyway? But no, great job to Toronto. They were down 2-0 in the series. They were able to bring it back 2-2. They ended up losing Game 5 to be on the brink of elimination, and then they was able to turn it on offensively in Game 6, which I watched, and then they were able to shut it down in Game 7 to win it. So. They definitely deserved it. Again, I feel bad for Mariners fans because once again, for another season, they do not get the chance to experience a World Series for their franchise. And and the crazy part is that the Mariners have had a few opportunities in their existence to make that World Series, and they just haven't done it. So. Hopefully they keep all the pieces. Kyle Rowley was a big part of their success this year. 60 home runs as a switch hitting catcher. So I think if they keep the same pieces with Julio Rodriguez and everything like that, I think that they'll be back next year. They'll be back.
Yeah, we have to mention once again, this is the first time that a team has won the first two games on the road and failed to advance. So, Yeah, from the Seattle side of things, that's rough. But from the Toronto side of things, it very reminiscent of 2019 for the Nationals. Heck, they have Max on their team, and so I'm definitely going to be pulling for Toronto in this one. But man, can you imagine if we get like a Max Scherzer versus Shohei Ohtani pitching game in the World
Dude,
Series?
let me tell you something. If we get either Shohei versus Mad Max or Kershaw versus Mad Max, I'm watching that game from start to finish. I don't care what's going on. I'm watching that game from start to finish because those two pitchers, that's worth the price of admission right there. One of those, if it's either Mad Max versus Ohtani or Kershaw versus Mad Max, I'm telling you, that's going to be a pitch. That's going to be a pitching duel. There's not gonna be much offense unless the bullpens get in there and the bullpens let it go. But I'm telling you, like the starters, if it's any of those, yeah. Oh, Seattle tried some trickeration and failed. That's fucked.
Oh no.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
They tried the old trickeration little wide receiver option pass, and he overthrew it and threw a pick. That's funny.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be interesting if that gives them life and they come back in this one? So wouldn't it be funny if this week Seattle goes up in all of them? They were up in this baseball game, they were up in this football game, potentially could go up tomorrow at some point and lose all of them? That would be an interesting thing. So
it'll be about as bad of a day for Seattle like it was for Philadelphia when the Phillies got eliminated.
Three consecutive days, maybe. Oh no, this would be both today and then tomorrow, so it'd be 2 consecutive days. So it wouldn't be all in one day. So yeah, the World Series will start on Friday. We'll definitely recap. Wait, hold on. Hold on. You can. Janaea was watching live. Let me see if I can get her on before we end this because that would be fun.
Watching live.
Janaea was. So.
Oh, nice. Yes, let's talk to Janaea. I really hope she can come on. I really want to talk because remember we were in one of the group chats and she was so worried because Mariners were down 2-0 in the series, and I said Toronto's a resilient team. I think they'll come back. I was like, have faith. I think the team's gonna be all right. And sure enough, they win it in 7 games. So now they get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off to chill and get ready before they got to head out, like begin their series against the Dodgers. I think it's going to be on in LA. I think, I'm not sure, but either way, they have time to like get ready because that's going to be a very tough series for them. With the way the Dodgers have been pitching, not just in the NLCS, but in the playoffs in general, they've been pitching very, very well. And then offensively, they've been very well. Of course, Ohtani's always going to be a threat. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, all of them, they're all little threats in the batter's box. So their pitch is going to have to be very, very precise, and they're going to have to be very, very cognizant of that. And then, of course, again, offensively, Toronto has a lot of good bats on there. And of course, Vladdy Jr. is always going to be a threat whenever he steps into the box. So they're going to have to be very, very mindful of how they pitch to Vlad. Otherwise, he could hurt them. Though all the bats from Toronto could hurt them in many ways we saw in this series, but they're definitely going to have to be very mindful of that.
So I have a question. What's better, the sweep and being, getting a week off, or this sort of Toronto had to fight, and get into it? And I know in hockey, sometimes having the extra time is bad. In baseball, getting some extra time and rest for the arms might be helpful. What are your thoughts? Do you think it'll have a factor, especially in a game one? They do start in Toronto, which is, interesting. So that, the Blue Jays don't have to travel. Now, LA has to travel to their place. But what is your takeaway on that?
I mean, it's really hard to say. I think that the extra rest could help mostly the Dodgers bullpen because of even though the bullpen didn't get a lot of usage in the NLCS, but I think that the extra rest could help a bullpen, whereas with Toronto, they had to use a lot of their bullpen, but they are going to get 3 days to rest and be ready if they're called upon in a situation where they have to come in out of the bullpen to either hold the lead or protect the lead or to help minimize a deficit or, keep the deficit from getting larger if it gets out of control. So it's really hard to say if having so much time off hurts or helps in baseball. It just matters what happens when you get out on the field. But I think it will help when it comes to the arms that are, on your pitching staff. I think it helps that a lot and things like that. So that's basically the long and the short, because, during the season, they play 162 games. So there's not really a lot of rest times and stuff like that. So I think that it's hard to say whether it helps or hurts.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because that'll be the conversation next week, since there will be, at least the part of the series that has existed in Toronto will be done. And so we'll see if they're able to hold serve, and then we'll be in LA for when we talk about it next week. Let's go. I do want to take a quick look at the upcoming NFL schedule just to give Janaea a little bit more time. I don't think she's going to be able to join us, but I'm trying to give her enough time to if she wants to. We got the week 8 matchups. We got the Vikings versus the Chargers right now. So I'm going to pick them real fast, and I'm going to get your thoughts on a couple of games. So we're going to Chargers. I'm going to pick first. Man, Dolphins look like trash. We got Cincinnati Bengals. The Browns have been pretty terrible. I'm going to go with the Eagles because the Giants can get out of their own way. We got the Bills because I know Carolina has 4 wins. It's weird they both have 4 wins, champ. Like, Bills I thought would have more wins and Panthers way less. I did not expect them to come in with the same number of wins. We got Bears and Ravens. You know what? I'm going to pick the Ravens out off of the bye. I think they need this win, and I'm going to give them some hope there, even though my dad always tells me to bet against them. But, I don't know. We'll see. 49ers, since the Texans look like trash. We got the Buccaneers because the Saints look like trash. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos over the Cowboys. We're going to go with the Colts over the Titans. We've got Pittsburgh and Green Bay. I'm gonna I think we'll pick the Steelers at home, and then I'm gonna pick the Kansas City Chiefs to beat us next week. So champ, any of the games that look interesting to you or that you think are
Pittsburgh, Green Bay, because it's Aaron Rodgers going up against his former team, and even though it's not in Green Bay, I still think he's going to have some extra motivation going up against his former team with his current team, and he looked really good in the Unk Bowl on Thursday night against Cincinnati. I think that DK Metcalf is really rounding in the form as his top target, and then you can't sleep on the fact that they have Pat Freiermuth as well, who's starting to really he was really a factor in that Thursday night game. So this is going to be a really, really interesting matchup between Green Bay and Pittsburgh, honestly. But I like that game. That game's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Janaea's got a dinner at her house that just arrived. It was delivered, and so she does not want to upset her partner, which I appreciate. Anyway, congratulations to them on the big time victory. Any other games you want to talk about real quick?
Of course, we got to talk about the divisional matchup between the Eagles and the Giants. That's going to be a very interesting game as well. I mean, ever since Jackson Dart was named the starter for the Giants, it seems like a spark has been lit under their asses. And then, of course, Cam Scatterboo has been such a tough man to bring down as a running back. And Eagles have a really good defense. They're getting back. I forgot the dude's name, but they're getting back. What's his name? Out of retirement to like boister their defense. I don't know if he'll be back in time for this game, but if he is, that's going to be a very important piece to their defense to be able to stop Scatterbo and that offense. Even though they don't have Malik Neighbors, they're still doing very well in the pass game. And I think that that's going to be the difference here, though it seems like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are absolutely shining. They shined in that Minnesota game. So I think that that's going to be a big that's going to be a big thing. But I think that this is definitely going to be a very interesting game to watch, especially as a division game, because of the fact that if we are lucky enough to go into Kansas City and win, we can stay in the hunt for the division. But it's not going to be easy. But this is definitely going to be a game to keep an eye on.
Yeah, so it's weird that Zadarius Smith retired in the middle of the season, and they get Brandon Graham, who retired the beginning of this postseason, back. Yeah, it just seems so strange. I don't know. I still don't understand why a player would retire in the middle of the season like that. It's just. I mean, it happens, but it just seems so strange to me that you would do all that work to get into the season and you just be like, I'm just kind of done. But yeah, so it's Brandon Graham that they'd be getting back.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I just saw it too, Brandon Graham.
Yeah, so he's third in franchise history with 76.5 sacks and played 15 seasons for Philadelphia. So, he said previously he would consider returning if his heart was in it and the team needed him. And so I guess the team needed him because somebody else retired and they can't deal without both of them. So, yeah, interesting. All right, any other games that you want to talk about before we end it tonight?
Not really. I mean, Tampa Bay should dispatch New Orleans pretty fairly, but at the same time, New Orleans, even though the results haven't shown it, they're a scrappy ass team. Spencer Rattler has his moments, and they still have Alvin Kamara, and Chris Olave had a pretty good game this week as well. So that's something that Tampa Bay is going to have to be very mindful of. But I think that if they got Mike Evans back, so if Mike Evans is able to really be involved in the offense, I think that Tampa Bay should dispatch them with no problems.
Yeah.
But that's a division game, so that's the one you can't really sleep on either.
Yeah. They're just showing Ohtani on screen again.
You know what? I forget what I said about Mike Evans, because Mike Evans is out for most of the remainder of the year because he has a broken clavicle.
All right. I forgot about that. They're just showing Ohtani on the screen. I still can't believe. I know you were talking about it earlier, and I didn't really reference it, but what an incredible game! I feel like that Game 4 may go down as one of the greatest performances in baseball history. Just to have like a top 10 offensive night and a top 10 defensive night as a pitcher in the same game, just like. That's crazy to me. Like, it would have been a career night on either side of but to do both in the same game, incredible feat of strength. It just blows my mind that a pitcher could be one of the greatest hitters in the game. Like, I never thought that would happen again. I just thought Babe Ruth was such a spectacular player and it was such a rarity, and how bad hitters have been, or pitchers have been in hitting over the course of the time period from Babe Ruth to now, it just didn't look like it was ever going to happen again, champ.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the old era of, the National League pitchers would hit and they wouldn't hit very well. And in the AL, they had the DH and that was it. And you would know that when the pitcher was always in the ninth spot, because that was where they were. And then pitchers always knew that was either an easy strikeout or easy out or whatnot. But now you don't have that with Shohei Ohtani, because not only can Ohtani go out and give you 5 innings of quality pitching, but then he could go up at the bat and hit one damn near into the next county. And I think that's what's changed. And I'm pretty sure that Ohtani is going to spur on a lot of young players to turn around and be two-way players where they go out and pitch as well as hit and play the field, be two-way players. But you have to also understand that being a two-way player, it can be pretty stressful physically because of the fact that you don't really get a lot of days off.
But not only a two-way player, but he's a designated hitter, champ. So on games, where your pitcher isn't batting, because they have designated hitter on both sides of the AL and NL now, he's hitting every day. He's not taking those days off between pitching appearances, which usually is recovery time.
Exactly. Yeah, like when you're a pitcher, you pitch every 5 days. And that's it. You don't do anything else. But Shohei is not. He's pitching every 5 days, but in between those pitching starts. And the thing is that he's just getting back into being a starting pitcher this year because he missed an entire year due to Tommy John surgery.
I still can't believe he could hit that well even after Tommy John surgery. Like, I get that he can't pitch, but like the fact that he can still hit after that, like most people just take it off completely. They don't like. No one would ever designate hit in those years that they take off for it, right? It's just
Shohei Ohtani's an anomaly, man. He's an anomaly. We talked. You just mentioned it. Babe Ruth was the last true two-way player in baseball. He pitched and he hit and was good at both. And now we have Shohei Ohtani. He's this generation's Babe Ruth.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing they're taking the picture for the AL championship photo, and first World Series appearance since 1993, champ.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the last year before I went to McLean. It's just crazy to me. Like, an institution I've been a part of for so long, both in so many different ways, but just like, it's hard for me to even remember that time period. I mean, that's back when the Redskins were winning Super Bowls and, things.
Yeah, I was getting ready to mention that the year prior to the last time the Blue Jays were in the World Series was the year that the Washington Redskins won the Super Bowl in '92. Yeah. I was like, and the last time the Blue Jays were in a World Series, I was 11 years old. So let's put that in perspective. I was 11 years old the last time the Toronto Blue Jays were in the World Series, and now I'm 43 years of age. So that's a long time. That's 32 years, I'm sorry.
Right, yeah.
32 years since their last World Series. They've waited that team has waited a long time, and that fan base has waited a long time for this. Now they got to show up and they got to show and prove that they belong there.
I'm excited because recently with basketball, getting to the promised land, and so now they can do it in baseball. It'd be funny if they win this championship and then like hockey is the one outlier, because hockey is supposed to be their sport for that city. But I'm excited. I also love it just because the whole country is behind them, so I can get behind that. Like, what a cool thing to not only just have like a city or a province or a state, but like a whole country getting behind a team like that. It's kind of like the Olympics in some ways, for them.
Exactly. It really is. And I mean, I'm also a big fan of the fact that there's so much behind this team and what they're able to do. It's really incredible, and I think that they definitely deserve all this because they had a really good season. They had a good regular season, and they had to fight through the playoffs in order to make it this far. And now they have a chance. They're 4 wins away from bringing home a World Series trophy to the land of Canada and whatnot. And it's not going to be easy, but I think they have a shot at it.
Yeah.
By the way, we don't talk about them much on this show anymore, but the Wizards begin their season this Wednesday in Milwaukee against the Bucks after a 1-2 preseason in which they lost to the Raptors by 1, They beat the Knicks in Madison Square Garden by 17 and then got blown out in Detroit by the Pistons 119-98. So I think it's going to be another season of misery for that freaking team.
Yeah, we'll definitely cover all the games, but man, in the grand scheme of sporting events next week, where we have live Commanders game, live World Series game, and Gil and I recapping and going to a hockey game, the Wizards better have a damn good week for us to give them a lot of time next week. So, but yeah,
they have 3 games. They have 3 games coming up before the next podcast: at Milwaukee, at Dallas, and then their home opener against Charlotte. At Milwaukee's Wednesday, then Friday in Dallas, and then the home opener is Sunday at 6 at Capital One Arena.
Yeah,
so that's what they're looking at.
Yeah, we'll see how they do. Be interesting to see how that team progresses for sure. All right, well, I'm hoping the Ravens are able to pick it up against the Bears and start a big-time winning streak. It does look like it's 14-3 right now in this Seattle game in the Monday Night Football. It's about to go to halftime there in the late game. And
and one other DC sports note to mention, once again, DC United disappoints, as they always do. Their season has ended at 5-18-11. They finished 15th in the Eastern Conference table, way out of the playoffs. So another disappointing season for DC United. They're going to have to make some changes and figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, it looks like Seattle is going for a field goal here. This guy is long in the season. It's 56 yards. How far is this one? This one looks pretty far.
I was selling my homegirl Brit Brat yesterday. I was like, what are they feeding these fucking kickers that these dudes are making 60-yarders like they're nothing? What are they feeding these kickers?
Oh, wow. 53-yard field goal was blocked. So Houston is very excited about only being down 3-14. See if they can come back in this game, or if I will run the table to end this week in the pick'em and climb back into it. I do want to show the current standings as it is.
I don't even want to look because I'm way down there. Look at this, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, an okay week, but yeah, it's Benson's kind of running away with it, so I'm trying to make up some ground there. I'm only 30 points behind him now, and Pete, who had been right above me, is now tied with me. We have a 3-way tie for second place right now, and Tommy Dykes, Liz's dad, my father-in-law, is right there in 5th place, along with Hurt and Seth, and then Champ as well. So it'll be we'll see how next week does. And Champ, final thoughts from the world of anything about wrestling that you wanted to preview before we get out of here?
Yeah, so with No Spots, we're trying to put together a little preview show this week because in New Japan Pro Wrestling, they have the Super Junior Tag League tournament started. It's going to be a very abbreviated tournament. It's only 12 teams and 2 blocks of 6 teams each, so it's going to be a very short tournament. Typically, we cover New Japan tournaments, but because it's so short, we're not going to be covering it on a separate podcast. We'll be just talking about it during the New Japan recap on the weekly podcast. But we want to talk about the teams that are in it and everything like that. So we got that. We're trying to get that put together. But my guy, Sid, the Sage, who is our New Japan guy, is working now. He has a job in IT now after getting his IT certification. And so his schedule's kind of been a little bit difficult to navigate. So hopefully we're able to do that this week. If not, then we'll just talk on the weekly podcast. We'll just talk about what's been going on in the tournament and things like that. But this week's episode will be recorded on Friday because we have NXT Halloween Havoc coming up on Saturday. So we're going to be recapping AEW Wrestle Dream, which took place this past Saturday, which saw a lot of developments happen for AEW there. Of course, we'll be talking about the fallout from that with Dynamite coming up this Wednesday. And then, of course, we're going to be previewing Halloween Havoc for NXT. We're also going to be looking back on their go home edition of NXT on the CW, and that's all coming up on Friday. And we haven't done live reactions in a while, so me and Sith will be doing live reactions to NXT Halloween Havoc on Saturday night on our Twitch channel, Kick, and on Facebook. So we got all that coming up for you this week. So make sure you're following us on Kick and on Twitch at True No Spots Pod, and on Facebook, facebook.com/NoSpotsPod, as well as the audio for episode 306 will be up Saturday on our all streaming platforms, which is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
Sounds good. Yeah, lots of exciting wrestling stuff coming up here for all the fans of that. We've got to give credit to Houston. They were able to get right down the field, and now they're going to have a 46-yard attempt of their own here with 2 seconds left before we go to halftime. So we're going to hold it here and see how this goes. It is up, and it is good. So that's a 6-point swing right there, champ. So they're only down 8. Maybe my running the tables might not be true. So we'll see if Seattle can blow this lead just like they did in the baseball game. And so that'll be something we can monitor and talk about next week. But I want to thank everybody for being a part of this show. I also want to thank everyone for tuning in. If they missed it, the VODs are up. I did a really fun Pokemon show to celebrate the new Pokemon video game coming out. It's on all of the channels. It's on my personal Facebook page. It's not sports related. And then you can also still catch it on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Robbie Gross, all one word. Or you can get it on the Twitch, on the VODs there, or on my Kick, which is always RobbieG_SportsOTHP over there. So I had so much fun. It was chaos trying to do a podcast with both of my children that are 7 and 4, but it's kind of funny and entertaining, and we've been loving the game. I am thinking about doing another podcast. This would be like a Halloween daytime podcast on Halloween morning. I was thinking about doing it from like 10 to noon. So stay tuned. We'll talk about that maybe next week. I might do some spooky emotes and some stories and stuff like that. If people don't know, there are hidden commands all throughout Twitch, and it can make ghosts appear. I just did one on screen right there. So I will have a storyline potentially, which you can do commands, and if you're a subscriber, you can make ghosts appear next to us, both in our live streaming podcast, which will be crazy next week, but also in that Pokemon special, hopefully on that Friday. So maybe, again, doing 2 shows, and again, you can go back and check those VODs out. I did a couple of streams. I did an art stream and a Pokemon live stream, so you can go back and check those out. And you can always check out SportsOTHP.com. Click the podcast partners button. You can get the No Spots podcast and get the Power Play Point podcast. We featured both of them on tonight's show. You can get all links to that, as well as Team Sports OTHP. Click that button. You get all of Champ's information and a bunch of other stuff over there as well. We also have, I think I need to add, so this year I'm going to add Sith to our Team Sports OTHP page, and I'm also going to add C4. So over the next couple of months, I'm going to add both of their bios and information. But you can get the links to all of Champ's stuff and all of Gil and Anna's stuff on there as well if you want to talk more hockey. Again, we are going live to the game tomorrow. I might go Facebook Live. I might go live on Twitch, depending on bandwidth. I'll definitely take some pictures and some video. I'm hoping that it's potentially a very important game in the history of Alex Ovechkin. He is at 898, so you never know. We're playing the Seattle Kraken. I'm going, again, live with Gil. If you missed the beginning of the show, I won some tickets. I'm taking Gil to the game, and we'll be there. C4 is also at the game in a different section, so we're going to try to all get together. And then we'll recap that next week. And once again, we'll be recapping all of the hockey in the first hour while watching the football. In hour 2, we will go more in depth into the live football game between Kansas City and the Commanders next week. And we'll have live World Series reactions as well. So we have Champ in hour 2. We'll have Gil and C4 hopefully in hour 1 as well. So it'd be a big show next week. I hope you guys are able to tune in. Thank you for everyone for tuning in and lurking. I saw a lot of people lurking today on Twitch. I appreciate all of you guys and people who are joining us across all of the different platforms. Champ, I always thank you so much for holding down and being my co-host for these later hours as you do. And any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Just hopefully the Commanders don't get blown out next Monday, and hopefully make it a respectable game. Hopefully JD5's hamstring injury isn't too serious, and if they have to go with Mariota can absolutely show why he's still a viable quarterback in this league. I'm hoping that the World Series is going to be as entertaining as I expect it to be, and that's about it. Go Genyo, sayonara.
All right. I am trying to say where I want to send us tonight. All right, I'm looking at a couple of different options real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Gibson, Almel. So many good people are on right now. I'm trying. You know what? One of our good friends, Tina French, is moderating her sister right now, and it's a charity stream. So they're music therapy. They're trying to raise money for a really good cause, and let me put some commands in chat. Who is Andrea Cannon, and also we'll do a shout out. So Andrea Cannon is the sister of Tina, diehard Commanders fan, so that's always good, and is a musician out of Texas. So she moved down there, grew up in this area as well. So I thought.
Hey, Robbie, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
This question literally just popped into my head. You have moderators like myself, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you let us do what you're doing in the chat? Why don't you let us do it? I'm asking. I'm like sitting here and I'm just sitting here staring and I'm just like seeing you putting all this shit up and I'm like, I could do that while you talk.
That's true. You could. I'm sorry. I'm such a moderator at heart. I moderate so many channels. I moderate more often than I stream, so it's just like in my nature.
See, I do shit like that on my streams because you're not there.
That's true.
So I have to mod my own shit. I'm here. So I mean,
that's fair. That's fair. I should let you do that. But I figure you're playing your game. You're chilling. You've been working and being on stream because if you
right now I'm actually pitching against the Dodgers and they beat the shit out of me. Like I literally got pulled in the 4th inning. That's how bad I was pitching.
Wow. All right.
I got pulled in the 4th inning, and I'm like a 13-year veteran, and I got pulled in the 4th inning because I'm pitching so bad. Like I gave up 7 runs in 3 2/3 innings.
Why is all of these things are? Because we never changed this. Son of a gun.
Yeah, I told you like 2 hours ago. That you never changed.
Hold on, I'm unrating. I'm changing this before we leave to talk shows. I'm gonna have to rechange the whole stream. I hate that. I changed it on the settings, but damn thing overrode it. All right, let's just let me see. If I do raid, if I do it now, does it?
Yeah, my pitching line was 3 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. I was awful, but I hit 3 home runs though. I'm a two-way player. So I hit 2 home runs. I had 5 RBIs, and we still lost.
All right, there we go. Now we got a raid message that will work. Now I'm going to do the raid out to Andrea Cannon Guitar. And but thank you, champ. I should give up my control thing. You're not wrong. But hopefully next week will be better than 2 weeks ago with the Bears game. And we're able to at least keep it close, so we want to stay on air. If not, we could talk baseball. And so we'll
listen. Like, I'm a baseball guy, so I wouldn't mind. Like, if the Commanders are getting curb stomped, we could be like, yeah. So the Dodgers and the Blue Jays series and shit like that. Don't let the Wizards start 3-0 when the Commanders get curb stomped, because I will be willing to sit here and talk Wizards.
Exactly.
I will literally sit and watch Wizards games just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, Rue may have to have his big comeback onto the show and talk Wizards if they go 3-0. So we'll definitely see if he can join us. Maybe Tim can join us as well, since he doesn't have a dog in the fight for that one. And maybe the Ravens can get a win. But anyway, we're raiding Andrea Cannon Guitar. They're doing a charity raid train for a Canadian charity, which I think is very fitting after Canada just won their thing. And Stitch, it's good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Yeah, we're just gonna go raid a friend of ours, but come join us on the raid. And all right, we're heading out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Bye.
Peace out.